Hello everybody, WO6Man96 here. We are out on lunch and filling up the bike and going to be doing the video that I've been wanting to do for a while now but just haven't had the chance, and that is the 5 things I love about my Z900RS. I did the 5 things I hate about my Z900RS. And like I said in that video, I don't really hate anything at all about this bike. But there were a couple things that I would consider things that they could improve upon or have just done a little bit better. But overall, everything is superb on the bike. So we're out on lunch, like I said, and we're going to find a place that I can pull off and show you better the things that I love about the Z900RS. I really appreciate everyone who has liked and commented on the videos that I've done so far. It is really neat hearing other people's perspectives, and I do my best to respond to all of them that I can. So hopefully I'll get a good response on this video as well. I'm hoping that it turns out well for everyone. So we'll get to a spot here that will work, that I can jump off the bike real quick. It's been raining a lot here in western Pennsylvania, so I've kind of struggled to get videos put together. So this is my really first time out. I was away for a while, was on vacation to Skyline Drive in Virginia, which was really great. We took the bikes down. I do have a video that I'll be working on, putting together a conglomeration of that trip there. This actually might work. Let's do it right here. With the grass and the gravel. Alright. Okay. So like I said, this video is going to be the 5 things I love about my Z900RS. And the number one thing that I wanted to start with is the color. Now, I'm going to start by saying never would I have thought that I would have bought a brown vehicle, a brown motorcycle, brown anything. I just have never really been a fan of brown. But this bike, when it came out, I just fell in love with the orange and brown combination. Now, it's not like a really apparent brown, and the sunlight, how it catches it and what lighting you are in, really make the brown seem very dark, even almost burgundy, black, and red. I've gotten all those comments on this bike, but it is indeed the candy tone brown and the orange, and I love the orange. I love the detail around the back fender, and how it continues on up around the tank, and the nice feature of the Z on the tank. And that's actually will be part of my number 5 as well, but if I forget to mention it, I love how it wraps around and connects with the Z on the tank. So the number 1 thing is the color, the quality of the color, the flake. The sun has gone behind the clouds right now, so you can't really adequately see the flake, the metallic look, but I do really like that. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the power, torque, and overall character of the bike. Now, I know a lot of you out there are watching other videos on this bike. You've watched the reviews out there. There's a lot out there on the power that it makes, the torque, and where it does that at in the RPM range. What I'm so impressed with this bike is the torque, and Kawasaki made it a point on this bike to put the torque where you're going to use it for everyday street riding, and I have totally agreed with them and their tuning on this bike. So number 2 is the power, the torque, and character of the bike. And that flows into my number 3. Number 3 is the sound of the bike. And Kawasaki did a lot of work for the sound on this bike. And as you can see, the nicely coated, the nicely routed exhaust right to the back can, replicating almost like what you would see the old megaphone style exhaust with the Kirker. And that is what I've really liked about this bike, is the sound. And what I like most is not just the upper sound, but also the down low rumble sound that it gets, the bassy note, the bass note at the low RPM level. It's hard to get it out on the camera adequately. If you have the chance to see one in person and for them to start it or ride it, please do. So that's number 3, is the sound of the bike. When I'm riding it, I really enjoy it. It's never too loud and it's never too quiet. But you do have the nice option of riding around and not causing a lot of attention on yourself if you don't want to. It's more than happy to just put it in a higher gear and cruise along quietly, but as soon as you start getting it up or start getting in a throttle, it really starts to come alive. So that's number 3. Number 4 is the handling / do-all capabilities of this bike. I've ridden a number of other motorcycles, standards, cruisers, sport bikes, hyper sport bikes, and this bike here, it may not look like it, but I feel like it can do it all. Now, they call it a standard, sport bike standard, and you would think, being a standard, that it would be able to do everything fairly well, and I agree with that. I've really thought that no matter what riding scenario I'm in, on the freeway, on backcountry roads, cruising through town, putting it through some twisties, it is always more capable than me, for the riding that I'm doing. And that's what we normally find as riders, is that our bikes are able to perform sometimes farther above than even we can as the rider, and that's great. And so this bike is a great do-all bike. It is very easy to handle. Like I stated in some of my videos before, the handling on the bike is very crisp. It's not lackadaisical when you lean it over or trying to put it in a turn. It lays right into the turn. So that's number 4. Number 5 is the last thing that I wanted to kind of tie in with the rest, and that is the overall fit and finish and the little tidbits that I appreciate that Kawasaki took on this bike. So the fit and finish, that almost ties back to number 1 with the color. It also ties in with the decals, the logos, the emblems, just the textures that you see, the brushed aluminum look, the nice almost aged white in the 900 and the Z, the more modern look brushed Kawasaki, alright, as far as the emblems go. Also on the dash, we see these nice crisp colors with the nice analog needles. Other things about fit and finish are just the quality of all of the bolts and fasteners and how they did the frame. You don't see a whole lot of wires. This is kind of the more wiry side, I guess you could say, but everything is in its place. So that is the one thing that really comes to mind on fit and finish, is the wiring, the fasteners, the welds. I mean, the welds are just so smooth. You don't see a bunch of globs or anything on the welds. It reminds me a lot of a premium motorcycle in some ways. And not knocking the Japanese manufacturers, but sometimes they are just cranking out bikes. Not that they're bad bikes, but you can find things on there that aren't necessarily up to par to, let's say, Triumph or Ducati or BMW. This bike here, I feel like Kawasaki did not go to their parts bin on this bike. Things are borrowed from the normal Z900. That you can notice that in the swing arm and, you know, some of the things about the brakes and obviously the motor. But again, the fins on the motor was a nice touch, even though they're not really doing anything. They are just a nice touch and an homage back to the original. So anything else about the fit and finish would come to how I stated about the Z. And just the overall, let's see, the brakes and the wheels, just how they went to great lengths with that. The pipes, the headlight, the chrome around the headlight, around the gauges. And so I'll end with saying that if you have the option, if you have the chance to go and look at one of these in your dealer, please do that. I think it's getting harder to find the candy tone orange. I bought the first one that I could get a hold of nearest to me. I have seen the black in person, and I'm not a huge black fan. It is very nice. I like the pinstriping around the bottom of the tank, but I do feel like Kawasaki should have continued that on around the back fender, like they did on the orange version that I have, the brown and orange version. So I'm going to cut the video there. I really appreciate everyone who's checking out my videos. Let me know what you think on this video. Do you have the same 5 as I do? If I missed some things, let me know, and we can start adding some comments and start talking about some of the things that you really think Kawasaki got right and that you love about yours and that you love that you've seen so far. So again, thanks for watching. W6Man96 here. I'm going to get out and enjoy the rest of the day, and I thank you again for watching my videos. Catch you all later.